Joe, good morning. How you doing today, man?
Good morning. It's Thursday morning. It's time for Proper Cup of Joe. This man has reptiles.
Lots
of them. And I don't. But you know what I have lots of? Questions. Lots
of
questions.
And we figure it out every week right here on Thursday. Joe, I think we have to come clean. I'm a little ashamed. It's 6:37. The audience thinks we're just, goofing off, being tardy to class. They don't know we ripped off 7 good minutes of show thinking,
oh my gosh,
we didn't know that we weren't live. Now my throat is blocked up.
Yeah, we had it was good. You guys should have been there.
We had awesome. 7 good minutes in the can, and I looked up and I'm like, nobody's commenting. There's nobody here. And then we were the ones that weren't here. The audience was there. So I'm amazed anybody's still here this morning, but here we are. And thank you, by the way.
Yeah. And to be honest, like the second time around feels a little bit disingenuous. So that was acting that you just saw. That was my great acting. Adam's great acting, just to start and be excited to do the whole intro again.
I mean, the good news is the SAG card is in the mail for you, Joe, and yes. you'll be up for an Emmy before you know it, man.
What's good? You know what's great about this show is that there's no ads. Okay, there's no YouTube ads.
Let's make it right. Can we do it no ads, and can we commit to going to 7:37 this morning? Full 1 hour. We're going to give people their what they came for. Their full time.
Yes. We'll go to Eastern, 8:37. Yes,
that's right. Excuse me. That's right. Everything revolves around you guys in the East.
Everything. Yes. Yeah. Pretty much. That's where this country started. And
okay.
You know what?
Thank you very much. Let's get this taken care of. We're brought to you live by Palm Street, ad-free. I hope that you enjoy it. Go check them out. It's a great live shopping, live selling, and buying experience. And you can apply to sell on Palm Street down below in the description. Also, Cold Blooded Cafe and Husbandry Pro Cold Blooded Cafe. You're going to get free shipping on all orders over $200 just for using Proper 11 code. That doesn't expire. Use it every time that you want. And Husbandry Pro, well, if they like you, you get some coffee perks. They're going to like you either way, but that's when you know that you're doing all right. Go check them out. All your snake tracking needs. And properoils.com is brought to you by Husbandry Pro. We'll talk about Sundog in a minute. We got to give them their own.
What's the what do you got going? It's a little different. They're a little different looking back there. What do you got back there? Or are you saving that for later in the show?
Well, it's official. We're not just flirting with Palm Street. I told you they're brought to you by Palm Street. We've taken the ads, thrown them in the trash. I said, if you want your logo here, you gotta come up with a little bit of cash to get rid of the ads. And I also like the platform. I've used it. I don't just sign people up. It's something I've done, and I'll continue to use. I like it. So people should.
That's how you get things done. That's how you get things done. And if I know Adam, he's the guy that gets things done. Gets things done. I mean, that should be the logo, the tagline of Proper Royals. Well, you think it through. Maybe put through AI a little bit.
Yeah, we'll try it out. We'll workshop it. Right. It could also be too stubborn and stupid to quit, to not show up.
I did work for a program. It was an AmeriCorps program, and their tagline was "Getting Things Done."
Okay,
which is so vague and not doesn't
right.
Say,
yeah,
just like getting things done.
the best at all the things. That's just what I'll call it. That'll be the new. It's everything. There you go. How was your week, Joe? What do you got cooking? What's your one thing this week?
Well, I got my flannel on.
Yeah, what are you doing? It's after Memorial Day. You're wearing flannel?
Yeah, because I like to keep it nice and cool in my house, and it's a little cozy. You know what I mean? And it feels good. It reminds me of the 90s.
I will say
it was a good era.
12 months a year at the Chateau Joe, you're gonna need a blanket when you go to bed. I will say that. You guys keep it. You enjoy the modern amenities of air conditioning to a strong degree.
It's crisp. It's crisp. I like to keep it nice and fresh. Yeah. And it's tiring. The heat and the humidity, it's tiring. So
It is exhausting. Yeah.
You notice I get a lot of energy this morning. You know?
Yeah, that's what you do. You get the cold and you get invigorated. You know, I've been doing saunas lately. We got these things up here. Yeah, and my house. I know this is good. People are like, oh, he's got a. This house came with a sauna. I never heard of a sauna in my life. I don't know what it is and what you do. I'm like, you just sit in a hot box. Well, that is essentially what you do. But, you know, 30 minutes, sit in there. Your blood gets flowing. Your heart gets racing. It's a very aerobic experience. Well, if you're a true like Scandinavian, after you get out of the sauna, you take a dip in the ice bucket. You know, you make a little hole in the ice, you climb down a ladder. They do this. I'm not to that point, but I did do. I don't even know what that comment means, but I did. You know, you sweat so much in the sauna, you have to take a shower immediately. I mean, pints of sweat are coming out of you. So I did for the first time the other day. I just stood under the shower. I turned it on full blast from nothing, straight cold water. That was, yeah, it was, I don't think I'm cut out for that. I think I'm a more moderate sauna person. I do like them. It's very relaxing. You get I do it almost like I don't claim to know how to meditate, but it almost becomes like meditative relaxing in there. I keep the lights off. I turn on some like spa music on the Sonos, and I zone out in about 149 degrees for half an hour. That's it.
Wow. Holy smokes. And it feels good. You like it?
Yeah, I do like it. It loosens up my muscles and my back. I don't know, man. I don't know if I just don't have a strong back or I wore it out in restaurants, but swinging tubs around and then scrubbing at the sink. And anyway, I like it at the end of the day.
That's good. That's good. I used to do that. I think I mentioned this before. I used to do that like in gyms and stuff. You know, you go into the sauna after a workout or something like that. I always really liked it, but it was hard because I will like to go to the gym and then I like to get out of the gym. I don't like to hang around in the gym. You know, you ever go to the gym? I don't know if that's a big part of your life, Adam.
Not really. Yeah. Not
so often. You go to the gym, you know that guys are just, and women are hanging out there, you know, nonstop. Every time I go there, it's like I see the same people over and over again.
Oh, it's a lifestyle,
different times of the day. I'm not one of those people. I like to get in, get out, do my thing, get out. You know what I mean? But yeah, people like just and so that's why it was hard for me to sit in the sauna more than 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, let me tell you, sitting still for 30 minutes that's a new plateau in my life, man. That's pretty tough. So
that's probably part of the therapy too, is just committing to 30 minutes of sitting.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, but it's all wood planks in there, so it's actually not that comfortable.
Okay.
But I can't put like cushions. Like the amount of sweat is, I mean, I'm literally I can't put sweaty cushions in there. So I'm not sure like how to make it more comfortable, but also not disgusting. So if anybody has any sauna insights into what they do, and I don't need more work in my life either. I already have to clean myself after the sauna. I don't want to have to take like equipment out and go clean that too, you know?
I keep seeing this ad actually, and it's like, oh, get your mom this for Christmas or birthday or Mother's Day or whatever.
Yeah.
It's something that you put into the tub. Like it's a cushion that you put into the tub. And then it's like it's made to get wet that way.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's something to look into.
Maybe. The more I talk about a cushion and sweat and sitting there and hot, I'm like, that's gross. Never mind. I'm just gonna.
It is. It is kind of funny to think you can't be uncomfortable for 30 minutes. Like you have to be more
No, the whole
Get to be
idea
more
is to be relaxed. Yeah, well, you want to be as comfy as you can if you're going to relax.
I think that okay, I see that. I see that.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm already suffering at 150 degrees temperature. I've done my suffering part. Let me relax a little. Yeah, I don't know if Troy missed the detail. Try cold plunging. I tried the cold shower immediate. That was. I let out a little yelp. I have to say, there was a little noise that came out of me that was unplanned. So anyway, I didn't even mean to bring that up. I got Joe. What's your one thing? Your flannel is your one thing?
No, it was. I mean, we had a great Memorial Day weekend. That was.
Nice.
We did a lot of work. This is the first year, though, that I'm hearing a lot of like I say, Happy Memorial Day, and people go, well, it's not really something to be happy about.
Oh,
and it's the first. I'm getting that for the first time in my life. I haven't never heard that before, and it makes complete sense. I understand. It makes sense. But this is really the first time like people are really like at me, like going, well, don't say Happy Memorial Day.
I gotcha.
Did you get that at all? That's not my one thing either.
Okay. Well, all right. So eventually we're going to get to the one thing.
We're going to get to the one thing.
Now, is it?
Are you getting that?
Yeah, that's one of the. Oh, there's noise. I don't hear any noise. Hello, Joe. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm good. Is there a distraction? What's wrong?
No, not with me.
Oh, I thought you said, did I get that? Do I get it from people?
Do you get that? Do you get that from people? Yeah.
No, what I was going to say is I understand. Yeah, I understand what Memorial Day is. It is also, whether we like it or not, a 3-day holiday that unofficially kicks off summertime. So we have fun with it. All right. Is there like and I don't want to dive too deep into this, but is there like a political wedge there where somebody's like, is this like a new like dog whistle of like, I'm in a certain tribe and I'm going to lecture you? Or is it?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Like it's something, it's another way to criticize someone else. That's what it feels like to me. Like I have the best intentions. Actually I don't have a lot of people in my family who have been killed in a war. Right. But I have people, lots of military. I worked for the military. I know I have lots of people in my family. And, even for Memorial Day, which is, it's more, Veterans Day or Armed Forces Day that relate more to my situation. Even for Memorial Day, though, like I contact them and I go, thank you. And, that kind of thing. Yeah. So like I have good intentions for that. But like you say, it's also, I don't do a big barbecue or anything, but I don't think anybody should feel bad if they do, it's a celebration of what we have been given by people who have given their lives.
That's a great way to put it. And I would agree with that. And hey, maybe we got to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they had a closer experience with losing somebody, and it's a time of grieving, and that's a different story.
That's good. It's bringing me back down. That's good.
If I had been, which a lot of people in my family experienced this, if I had been drafted and seen some of my comrades mowed down, I would see Memorial Day differently than I probably do through my own eyes. So who knows? But
so I spent a lot of time working because I mentioned this. We bought a shed that we're supposed to build in the next weeks and everything. So you got to create like an area for it. So it was a lot of shoveling gravel, and we started another project where Chelsea built this wall and everything. So it was a lot of shoveling rocks and everything. It was just a lot of hard labor in the heat, in the middle of, Florida, in this heat. Right. So I go, so every once in a while, I needed a drink, and Chelsea, for some reason, had bought these Frescas. Okay. When's the last time you had a Fresca?
It's probably been 10 years, but they're very refreshing. They're like They're even more effervescent than Sprite and way less syrupy. So a little more on the citrus, a little more effervescent, and it's fun to say. Fresca.
Fresca, and it's like grapefruit sparkling water, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not usually a grapefruit guy, but I couldn't stop drinking these things the whole weekend.
Okay.
Fresca. Now, but it made me think. Now, I never liked them before this, so it made me think. Have you ever hated something that you've eaten, or anybody else that you've eaten, and then later on in life you go, wow, this is really, really good. Like your taste buds change over time.
Oh,
that's what I hear, right? So is there anything that
Brussels sprouts?
Really?
I don't think I had Brussels sprouts till I was 32 years old. I had them and I hated them. And then I said, I'm a food and beverage professional. The chef is cooking Brussels sprouts this evening as a featured side. We always tasted the features. I firmly believed that if we tasted it and enjoyed it, we could sell it better. So we always had a little family dinner before the actual dinner service. And I was like, you know what? I'd be a hypocrite and I'd be rude if I didn't taste these. And I was like mad at myself that I let 3 decades of my life go by without enjoying these delicious sprouts from the chef. So I learned that, just boiled or steamed bland Brussels sprouts, do them right, get a little sear on them. If you got a little bit of the meat jus that you're working with, ladle a little of that on top, throw them around on some high heat, get them on the plate. Oh, beautiful at that point. There it is.
Yes. So Brussels sprouts is one of mine, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. And I even liked the soggy steamed kind of Brussels sprouts.
Oh, you did? No.
Yeah,
No, thanks.
I do like them. I like just taking them.
Spare me the frozen bag of veggies. No, thank you. That's good. Yeah, I'll pass on that. What about lamb? Adrian says lamb. I dig on some lamb.
I've always liked lamb, though.
Okay.
I've always liked lamb. Now here's the other question. So, is there anything that you hate that you've tried and tried again that you just can't? That there's nothing. You can't do it. You can't do it.
Beets. Never, ever again will I eat beets. That will not. It is the one food I will eat. There's a recipe for something called sweetbreads, and that sounds really nice. Sweetbreads is apparently a euphemism for the pituitary gland of a veal, and they call it sweetbreads because you would never eat it if you read on the menu pituitary gland of a veal. I will eat sweetbreads before I eat beets ever again.
Really? Even after your experience of Brussels sprouts?
No, never. I don't know what it is. There's some little genetic trigger I have. My DNA got a little mutation in anti-beets, man. That is just not going to be my thing. I've never tried durian. You know what durian is, Joe?
What is that? No, I don't know that.
That's the partially developed egg of a duck that you would eat. Very popular in Asian culture and Asian street food. Never tried it. I'm going to give it a shot, though, man.
Yeah, you're going to give it a shot?
Oh, if I ever have the chance, I absolutely will. I've heard that it's just I've heard it's amazing. Once you have it, you just put all reservations away on it.
Really?
Yeah. Don't know.
I mean, I'm a usually very adventurous eater. I don't mind. I once ate a moth. So
you ate a moth. All right. Adrian and I are talking about different things. He says fruit. Now that's a different story.
Beets are fine. Beets are good. I don't know. It's funny. Oh, let's see. Asparagus, Brussels sprouts, and beets. Yeah. But Troy, you continue to hate it to this day.
Excuse me. Durian is not. I'm talking about balut. Excuse me. Durian. I misspoke. Balut is the name of what I'm talking about. BALUT. Balut. I misspoke there. Okay. Joe, I have a new segment I'd like to check out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In the reptile world, as a lot of niche, weird places can get, social media is rife with fun, and I thought I would share a little bit of my experiences this week. I don't know why. Maybe the Memorial Day weekend holiday, which, by the way, thanks for all the comments. I have been reading those. You guys are pretty spot on in the comments. maybe the weekend got them all hyped up or really amped up the craziness on social media. But I thought I would share 2 examples. So I had one, and maybe people can relate to this, especially selling ball pythons. So I had one. I made a little screen video. I believe this was a woman. It doesn't matter though. She says, "Hey, I'm interested in these animals. Can you send me a video on them?" I'm like, "All right, this is a hot lead. Fantastic." So what you don't see at the top of that little video is, at the very top, I sent her a video of one of the animals she inquired on. She then proceeds to say, "Can I inquire on some others of yours that I'm really interested in?" I said, "Yeah, sure. It's great. You got 8 inquiries. Let's check it out." She sends me 8 inquiries of pictures, to which I had to sadly reply, "None of those are my animals."
Really?
Yeah. Which, if I were to plug a of the reasons why to use another platform, she had gone to Morph Market, seen my snake, got advertised 8 different other people's snakes, didn't realize they weren't even mine. Like, it's a maddening scenario there. Like, it's a really difficult place. So then, of course, she hits me with the, "Okay, let me talk to my husband. I'll be back in touch." Now, that's code for "see you later. You're never going to hear
That's right.
from me again." Now, that was just a little appetizer. This one was.
Sometimes I do say, I gotta. Let me just talk to the wife. I don't even have a wife.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah, that just gets you out of it, right? Yeah, you know how it is. I got to check with the old lady here.
She's not old.
No, I look, man, there's 2 kinds of people in this world: the people that refer to their significant others as old ladies, and the people that don't. I gotta say, I'm in the latter, but hey, if the former works for you, let it rip. This one though took the cake. I have not communicated with this person. Out of the blue, unsolicited, this person says, this is fantastic. "Sunset pied, please." One message. Next message. "They go over $50,000. Next message. "Got cash." Next message. Thumbs up emoji.
Okay.
Right. Now, for the record, and most people in the audience will realize this, sunset pieds don't go anywhere near $50,000.
Okay.
I don't respond because I've decided that ignoring nonsense is the best way that I could get through life. And after an hour or 2, this person sends another thumbs up emoji. And I said, "Man, they're okay." So I replied, just very, very slightly trolling, but really trying to be helpful. "You could buy one right now on Morph Market for $4,000. Good luck, man. I don't have sunset pieds. They're not for sale. I don't have them for $50,000 or for $4,000. You could buy one on Morph Market right now for $4,000. Good luck." This is where it gets fun. He says, again, this has been the entirety of our conversation, "You're weak." Next message. "I could do better than that on Morph Market. Bye." And then he sends me a selfie of himself, I guess to let me know that he means business and that I'm not to be messed with. This is what I'm greeted with in my. He says, "You're weak. I could do better than that on Morph Market. Bye." And sends me. I guess this is how I know that he's not messing around. And I guess the name is Rhino. Like when you've got an eyebrow / forehead tattoo of the word rhino, that's how you know. Now, I thought I had saved this guy $46,000 in my math, in my head. I thought he could be a little more gracious, but maybe that's his way of saying thank you. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, he looks like an interesting guy. I don't know. It's kind of. I mean, he's kind of making me feel uncomfortable by his stare, but I don't know. That's,
So anyhow, if you have
but is there a scam? I mean, could it still be a scam?
I don't. He never
There's
asked
no
me.
way.
He never
There's
asked
no
me for
way.
money, so I don't know.
Right. Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And
Interesting.
to his credit, when he said bye, he was gone. I appreciate that.
Okay.
If you're gonna,
Yes.
if you're done, be done. Don't announce it. Like, when people are like, I'm announcing a break from social media, and then they announce it, and then they check their comments for 2 weeks. That's not it. No, just go. So I appreciate that he said bye and he was gone. That worked out well for me. And
Yes, thank you, Rhino.
we might, maybe we can incorporate Rhino into an ongoing segment. I'm not sure. Maybe he could be the face of our social media segment of the future. And he'll always remind us that we're weak and that he could do better on North Market.
You're weak, Adam. You're weak.
Here's to you, Rhino. I hope you have a great week. Oh, side pet peeve. If you're going to talk smack and cut promos on me in my DMs, learn how to use apostrophes. He wrote YOUR week. Like I owned the week. Week is an adjective. I can't own a week. That's different. That's a different word. So Rhino, you got a little work to do. Come back. You're going to put a little apostrophe in there, slap an E on the end, and then your promo is going to be great. It's going to be the mic drop. You've sent your selfie. You've got your apostrophe in the right place, and you're out. Adios. Goodbye, Rhino. That's there you go.
Weak. You're weak. That used to be, I think in the 90s, that used to be kind of a slang term.
I think it still is. Yeah,
weak, bro.
Weak, bro. I was going to give you 50 grand, but you told me to only give somebody else 4 grand. You're weak. Here you go. Here's your week. I love it. Like, it's all you can do is smile. And it's beautiful nowadays because people can't punch you through social media. Had this happened in the mid-90s, not social media, face-to-face in a bar, I would have had to laugh in Rhino's face, and it probably wouldn't have turned out as well.
No, it doesn't. By the looks of him.
By the looks of him, who knows?
Doesn't look like it would turn out well. He's ready to roll.
So if you would like to be featured on, time to check my social media, then let me know. You can leave any comments that you would like. I'll enjoy them. And maybe you two can be featured alongside of Rhino.
So this is a new segment that we're starting this week.
I might put it into like, I don't know. People on StreamYard might not realize there's a little thing called media assets where I could just click it. Like, watch this. See what I'm saying? Like I could just start things. Maybe I just make a little montage of music with Rhino, and that's what we'll do.
That'll be fun.
If you ever meet Rhino, let him know I'm willing to send him a Proper Royal shirt. If all the other people he tries to intimidate in the future, if he'll wear the Proper Royal shirt while he's talking smack to them in his own way.
Thanks, Rhino. No ill will towards you. Just thank you for the great morning that we
wherever you are, Rhino. Cheers, man. Elias figured it out. Yeah, if you the better like grammatical error puns you can make without me knowing that you're making them on purpose, that's really the ticket to get into my nerdy segment here of check my social media.
Now, I have a question. What is Snake X?
Oh, Snake X. That's Bert down in. He's another Minnesotan, and now so I'm new to Minnesota, and he lives in a place that's spelled Winona, and I said it the other day, and my wife immediately corrected me. She's like, no, we say it like this, but I can't remember which was the wrong way and which was the right way. So
Winona.
Yeah, I think it's Winona, but it might be Winona, and I can't remember. Winona. I can't remember which one I said, and she was like, "Oh no, we say it this way." But it was lost on me. I'm not sure which. So that's Bert down in Winona, and I'm not sure. I don't know.
That's definitely not it.
Yeah, I know. I tried to get both of them in there. Did you see that? Just cover my bases on both. Bert's a cool dude. I liked this shirt. This shirt I have a little special memory of. I got this shirt at Tinley. they had pre-washed it and pre-dried it. It smelled like a fresh dryer sheet when they gave
Oh,
it.
that's nice.
Yeah, it wasn't even just out of the plastic, which is nice, but you got to break them in. This one was washed and dryer sheeted. Yeah, it was really nice.
Why Nona? We're getting why Nona.
Yeah, I think it's different than a Primus song. I do remember that. That was definitely the cheeky, like, I would think I was 12 when that song. Like the longevity of Primus is pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah, I like that shirt, and I like the name Snake X.
Yeah, it's a little SpaceX takeoff, I think, but it was cool. It was easy. Yes. It was there. Why not take it?
Go for it, man. Go for it.
And if Elon has a problem, you've made it when you catch Elon's attention, right? Yes. We'll leave him alone. That's all we'll say there. Joe, I heard an interesting thought from a breeder this week, and I thought there's two different ways, and I've heard both sides of this coin. Two long-time breeders, both of them been at it 25, 30 years, looking at things very, very differently right now. And I found it very interesting and intriguing. And I thought, has this applied in other places in other industries? And it's the idea of almost innovating backwards. We always think of going forward. We always think of advancing, becoming more and more and more premium. Can you premium yourself? Can you get to a point where you've made your own personal hobby something that is and I don't want to say too good. It's too expensive. It's too much. It's too something. You have eclipsed the masses because there's a sweet spot of demand and the amount of people to meet that demand and a sort of a premium tier. And if you go too high, there's just not enough people to keep the shop open and to keep the lights on. So right. I heard, and I'll really clarify. That's sort of the idea for you, Joe. But I'll really clarify for the snake people. The idea was one breeder saying, this Kodam combo with 4 hets, nobody's going to buy it. It took me 6 years to make it. And I can't charge X thousands of dollars because it just sits there. And at the end of the day, it still looks like a brown snake. We know what it's worth because all the hets are there and we know the value and what it takes to make it, but nobody's paying for it. And the other breeder, and so that breeder said, you know what? I just got to take a break. I'm going to pivot to some other portion of the industry outside of snakes because the market isn't there. And I don't want to innovate backwards. I don't want to just make stuff to make stuff. The other one said, you know what? I'm thinking of buying 10 female, we call them Blue-Eyed Lucies, Blue-Eyed Leucistics. He says, I think I'm going to buy 10 female Blue-Eyed Lucies, and I'm just going to breed Blue-Eyed Lucies and make, 60 of those a year to help keep the lights on while I still work on the cool stuff.
Yeah.
And they're both doing their thing. They're both figuring out what makes sense for their business and their options. But I thought, man, these guys, and these are OG type dudes, man, for me at least. I mean, if you've been at it 25, 30 years, and they've both been mentors to me and friends. So I'm like, man, this is a very interesting time when these guys have very opposite ideas. And I tried to think about like what would you do? Would you innovate backwards? Would you pivot, quote, backwards? And is it backwards if you're doing it to stay in business and gain more customers? Is that backwards at all? And then I couldn't think of like other examples. Anything, does that get you going at all, Joe? What
yeah.
That?
So I had like a training business for a little bit, like a consulting business for a little bit, where I would be hired by companies to come do like a leadership program or a team building thing.
Yeah.
So the way that I see it was if you sold a leadership program, those are months long. Every month you get together, you give a half day or a full day or like workshop or whatever with the same group of people. So it was like a cohort, it was a class, and there was like a graduation at the end. And those were like, great. Those you could sell them, but you didn't sell a lot of them.
Yeah.
And then I was also doing like, one-off like team building stuff,
right?
Like you do like like a Myers-Briggs training or something like that. And those were great. And those were the things, like, eventually I didn't have a cohort leadership training months long thing. So I really had to then go, okay, let me just, the team building thing was just easier to sell. So I would be able to do that. Now, the difference though, is that, you don't have, there's not a lot of investment in either one. There's not, like, I'm not going to go buy 10 loose
Blue-Eyed Lucy females.
Blue-Eyed Lucies. Like, I don't have to do that. It's just there and I can sell it. So
right.
It was less of a decision that I had to make, and more of like, whatever comes my way, whatever's easiest. I just have to work more on sales or more on development of the leadership program. But I understand what you're saying, that sometimes it's just better to go, let me sell, I don't know, 8 team building sessions, right? To different companies, right, instead of one leadership training to one company. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of opportunity. Here's the way I think of it. And there's a lot of, and I always go back to restaurants, but we've all eaten in restaurants. So there's a lot of different ways here. On the very surface of it, if the big package that you're talking about, if your premium package, that's odd to say, if your premium package isn't selling, but the less premium one is, and you could sell 10 of those, first on the surface, that's great for cash flow and you're making some money, but it gets your foot in the door where you can kind of show what you're doing, and it still down the line maybe sell that big package.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so for me, I like that sweet spot of, I'm going to have X% and a big chunk that I'm going to sell to the masses, and I enjoy it. Now, part of this comes down to, do you like it? If you just burn out and you hate it, then that's a different story. But if you're still excited about it, having a big chunk that you could sell to the masses, i.e. Blue-Eyed Lucies, cool banana combos, things like that. Not every one of those is going to convert down the line to the multi-recessive thing, but they got to start somewhere. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest breeders in the world, and I mean that literally, I don't mean most famous, I mean volume-wise, cranking out snakes. He told me, I told him, I said, I can't come to your place, man. I don't have the money to buy the amount that you need to care for me. And he goes, I can't sell you 100 snakes without selling you the first one. I said, okay, I like that. That's always stuck with me. Right, and it made me feel special at the time too. Like, I told the dude I didn't have much money at the time, and I still don't have a huge amount, but I had a little more to invest now. And sure enough, I bought from him many times over several years, and he was exactly right in the long run. So I like that idea. The restaurant example, I always had to have, I could have the finest restaurant in the world, but I have to have the prices that are going to match it, because I got to stay in business. And the people to buy that caliber just didn't exist in rural Western North Carolina. Didn't matter how much vacation money they were on. There weren't enough people to justify, Wagyu ribeyes as a main thing to keep in stock. Now, sure, one off, or buy, well, look, we'll buy 4 pounds of this loin, and when it's gone, and we think we could sell that. So we had to think of that. But there's a reason Mick Ultra, Bud Light, chicken tenders, and hamburgers, and White Zinfandel are on nearly every menu in America across 90% of restaurants that you can walk in and sit down at. Now, I'm making up stats. I guess those things are never going to be at Shoney's, but you get what I'm saying. We see them everywhere. And it's for that reason. Those are the things that fund the bigger projects that we're in love with, that we, that kind of the passion projects that we might only have 1 or 2 buyers per year. But if we could get $8,000-$10,000 out of one buyer a year, we're really happy. But in the meantime, we got to get multiples of 8,000-10,000 people across many, many buyers.
That's right. Yeah. It makes me wonder, though, that like there are industries that have certain places that are just like, you come here, this is high end, it's luxury, that you're not going to get anything else here other than the this high quality, the rarest type of things. It is, I mean, there players in the snake community that are like that? You go there specifically for that kind of snake?
Oh, big time, big time.
Yeah.
There's, and that's the
They
truth.
they don't sell anything less than, I don't know what, $20,000 snakes or something.
No. They would still sell sub $1,000 snakes, but the audience could rattle out. If I said, hey, who are 10 people that fit into that bucket, we would overlap 80% of the players.
Okay.
So we would, and those are the people that inspire us. So, but even they still, even Justin or Garrick DeMeyer or Wilmer Rose, they still sell animals that are $400 or $500, but they don't sell the animals that are $100 and $150. They produce them, but they'll wholesale those in batches and move them on. Those I hate to say they're not worth their time. That sounds really unappreciative, but literally that's not actually quite worth their time.
I got you.
And so they want to get on to selling and building communities around the higher end one, and they've done it successfully. So it is possible. What you're talking about, though, to go back to that restaurant analogy, generally those super high-end places are two things. They're generally very small, so they have as low overhead as possible, and they're in massive markets. So now Burns Steakhouse, pretty big place, massive market. That's an iconic place. If I were to open a bistro to the caliber of Burns in Tampa, maybe I could make it work in the metro area of 4 million people. I couldn't make that work in the metro. There's no metro in Western North Carolina. Like they're just not, common, right? So I think those are the two components. Snakes are a little different because I can't overnight you a fresh meal and you're going to love it. The snake premium product, my metro area is nationwide. I could ship overnight and there's the massive people there. So if I could reach those people, yes, it makes sense. But that one breeder clearly is saying they don't think that there's the volume of people to sustain that high-end portion anymore. And they're basically just going to whittle back to just what they're really, really loving doing and pivot to a different, and I'm being a little bit secluded here because these are private conversations. I don't need to share who it is. So, but they're going to be pivoting to something else in the market, and they're happy. They're fine with it. They're good with it. They're banging along on that other thing. I'll tell you that much. So, so they're fine, but it just struck me how different the two outlooks were. And so like, I don't, like the closest I could come up with was the Lexus example of the Toyota brands.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was thinking of.
I used to hear Lexus all the time. I don't hear Lexus nearly as much now. And it's a whole lot more of, pickup trucks and here's the truck, these trucks are more expensive than the Lexuses were and maybe still are. I don't know. I haven't priced this, but I'll tell you a fully loaded Tundra right now will, you could afford a Lexus if you're buying one of that TRD Tundra. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know. It struck me as just two very, very different outlooks, and that's an interesting point you made about your training classes too. Innovate.
Yeah. So I want to so do you think the other thing is that most of the breeders most of them are kind of mom and pop, right? So there's a certain amount of labor or resources that you have because you don't have the labor to do both of those things. So you do have to kind of make a decision about the time that you're spending. It's not like there's a huge amount of R&D that you can do to try out certain things, especially because it's it takes so long to see if that comes to fruition, right? And it's not 100%. You're not going to go, okay, we got the $20,000 snake or whatever. So
it's matter of fact, let me be clear. It's not possible. You buy the $20,000 snake, you still got to wait even if you buy it as a proven breeder, you still got to wait for the eggs to come. Even if you buy it as a gravid female, you got to hope that it lays, and those eggs don't, like, there is no rushing any of this. So the short term, I'm going to buy this and be rich in 2 years, it's not going to happen. That's a whole different problem of people's outlooks in the industry. But yeah, you can't rush it. So even if you do that R&D, it's 3 to 5 years before it pays off, and who knows what the market looks like at that point.
Yeah, and you kind of want to have the answer. Yeah, you're going to do both. You're going to try for that, that long term investment. Let's work towards this premium. And then you've got to have the other part of it, which is what you're talking about. You like to have that pipeline too. I mean, the analogy was that usually the people that I did team building trainings for, they were the ones that would hire me to do their leadership programs. So you're kind of creating a pipeline to that. But because most breeders are so strapped for resources or labor, you kind of have to choose, don't you? Or no?
Yeah, so one of the resources you haven't brought up is space.
Mm-hmm.
And you might even physically have the space, but then to buy the equipment to fill it, that rack behind me, I bought it used, and I thought it was a pretty good deal. I think I either paid $2,000 or $2,500 for it. That's not chump change. So even though I have the space in a basement in a relatively large house, I still got to pay more money to have the equipment to hold these things. And I now own 5 of those caliber racks between here and the other facility. So, you need the space because somebody mentioned earlier, even the big dogs miss on their best pairings. Like you need the space. Now, genetic testing, shed testing has improved that somewhat. You used to have to hold back all of your possible hets and have space for all these things, hold them for 3 years, breed them, see what hits, see what didn't. So that helps. But money. So first, time, we can't buy time. You could buy time a little bit by buying the best combo and not making it yourself, but there's time. Then there's the money, there's the hours in the day to take care of the animals properly, the space, the physical space to make the ambient area, but then the space where the animals have to go too. And all of that suddenly becomes, wait a minute, either this has to become a producing business, or I've got to whittle this down to a hobby because I'm going to go broke if I don't.
Yeah. So what is everybody else doing?
That was kind of my question. Like, what speaks to you guys? Is it still a plow forward on everything that you've ever dreamt of? Or is it, hey, if I know I'm going to be around for 3 to 5 more years, do I refocus a little bit on, hey, maybe I need to be a little bit more accessible to the masses? And accessible to the masses is code speak for, I got to make some stuff that's a little lower priced, and I'll make a little bit more of it, but we're going to make it more accessible.
And you mentioned, and you kind of made a sweeping statement. I was just going to highlight that comment too. You made a sweeping statement, like that's the dream. The dream is to get to like that premium, to get to the premium snake, to figure out a combination, to get to a premium snake that you can sell to a collector who can buy it. Right.
Right.
Is that the dream for everyone? Is that what everybody kind of is working towards?
Well, look, when you pick up a guitar, you dream of being Jimmy Page at Madison Square Garden. Knowing full well you're probably never going to play Madison Square Garden on your guitar, but you still go learn Stairway to Heaven and, rock and roll and all of that. Okay. So there's a little bit of that. We all dream about it. We might know in the back of our heads, hey, that's not that likely. And then there's some wackadoos like me that go buy a facility and outfit it and go, when people walk in here, they're gonna. I'm confident they're gonna want to buy something. So, and then there's the middle grounds, which are again where the masses of us play, and the fruit is. Which is the live shows, and whether that be in person, whether that be Morph Market, Palm Street, is reaching the customers and really building your brand that way. And it is a grind doing that grind. So, but you got to move the snakes. They pile up. It doesn't seem like that much. And somebody the other day said, I have a hatchling rack that for 108 snakes, and they said, well, will you make 108 snakes this year? I said, yeah, I'll probably make double that. And they're like, how much do you make? And I'm like, I don't know, that's only like 35 clutches. And I say only, I remember when I started, 35 clutches was a ton. If you average 6 a clutch, you're going to make 200 snakes. You have to have an answer of where those 200 snakes are going to go, both physically, where you're going to store them, and business wise, where you're going to sell them and move them.
Right. Yeah. So, what do you do if your inventory is too high?
You're always grinding, man. There's auctions. You can put them up there. You can, one of the dreams is that you find a wholesale buyer where you go, hey, I'll sell you 10 of these and I'll give them to you at a significant discount, but you got to take them all. And you have a different clientele. Maybe you're a medium-sized box pet store, and it doesn't make sense for you to breed your own snakes, but you do have people that want pet, low pet level, normal ball pythons or normal looking ball pythons. That's a different market than I'm focused on. You take these, I'll get a little bit of money. You're going to get stock and inventory, and, some people are going to start dreaming about other ball pythons they can make. Hopefully.
And then you pick the best of the best of the new hatchlings. You pick the best of the best.
That's right.
Then you hold on to them.
Yeah.
And that's going to either lead to sales at shows, or it's going to lead to your passion project.
Bigger future breeding stuff. Now, the other thing you have to think about is, and again, the audience will realize this, but not only do you have to be able to sell your hatchlings, if you're holding back animals, that means that you're cycling out adults. If you have a male that's better than a male that you already own, well, it doesn't make sense to keep both of them. I mean, maybe you need a backup, but at some point you're not going to need all of those males. So then you have to figure out how to sell adult breeders as well as the hatchlings. And
those are more difficult to sell?
It's crazy. Yeah. I remember a day, especially female adults, even normals, like people would pay whatever price because the idea was you have to have females to make eggs. Now it's really challenging to sell adult breeders. So pet owners want a cute baby snake. The people that were buying adults have realized, well, I got to make my own, or I'm working on my own projects, and there's less people, quote, getting in that think that there's some sort of gold rush, on get rich quick stuff. So they're not just shelling that stuff out. So you have to reach the customers that you've developed, the relationships that you've made. You got to lean on the power of your brand and get it out there. And sometimes you run into, Rhino, what are you going to do? Like, sometimes he comes to your door.
I'm scared every time he comes up on screen.
I know. I think in all seriousness, though, the challenges, and this is like not that insightful, but it is real. The challenges are what incite us to make innovations, to figure it out. Because when you face a challenge, you can either quit or walk away. And I have all respect for people to do that. If you're not up for the challenges, don't make the animals suffer. It's okay to quit and walk away. If you got into it as a hobby or even as a business, some businesses fail. It happens. But if the challenges come, you can either quit and walk away, or you got to figure out what's next. And that takes trial and error. And what I really can't stand is when I'm trying different things and people immediately go, oh, you're an idiot. That'll never work. That's stupid. Like,
right. It's so easy, and people do that all the time with everything.
Right. Okay, dum-dum. Either you're a rich bazillionaire. Oh, actually, I haven't heard of you. That's okay. I'm not, no shade. But don't tell me I'm a dum-dum for trying new stuff when we all know how difficult it is. So you got to innovate. You got to try. You're going to fail at some things, and then you're going to hit on other things. But if you don't try, you're not going to figure it out. And if you just wait for somebody to tell you what's working, they're already ahead of you. They've already figured it out. Doesn't mean not to go do it, but you got more work to do to get ahead of the dude that frankly is breeding exactly the same things that you are. And to 90% of the people, they look the same. It's just more ball pythons.
There's definitely something that I have recognized about this community or industry. Well, I'm going to call it a community because, and this is what I've recognized. As somebody who is an outsider, who doesn't have snakes, doesn't breed reptiles at all, and learning about my friend who has gotten into this 5 years ago. 5 years ago?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You kind of go, what the hell? What are you doing? What's happening? And and there's a sense of this community, if you're not involved in it, where you kind of go, oh, they're just kind of, they're a little outside of the mainstream. They're stepping outside of what is socially acceptable in some cases, right? In all cases, let's just face it, right? So you're kind of taking a step outside.
Not all cases.
So you go, so there's like this thing where it's like, well, if they're stepping outside of like this mainstream way, or the things that are acceptable to be a part of, or to really put their hearts into, if they're stepping outside of that, then they must be stepping outside of all of the other mainstream things that we appreciate, like really hard work, being really, studious and all of that. One thing though, I know that is completely wrong. Getting to know you, getting to you in this industry, getting to know other people in this industry. This is not an industry or a community for people who are not determined, people who do not have commitment. Like, even as a hobby, this takes an incredible amount of commitment to this hobby, just to do the things that you want to do, to have fun. I mean, that, like, and then to try and make it a business is like there's so much, there has to be planning, there has to be strategy, there has to, like, people start businesses and they go, yeah, let's just do it. I've seen it, I see it. And they're kind of committed, and maybe it works, and then usually it doesn't. But even to be a hobbyist in this community, I think you have to be smart, and I think you have to have commitment. And I think to have any longevity, there's got to be a certain strategy that's involved. And that's why that's what I've learned over the past 2 years of doing this, is that, that there's so many people that are so committed and they love this so much. I think it's so great.
It's cool. And it's right under the surface, all over the place. It blows people's mind. I went into a feed mill the other day that's right around the corner from the new facility. And I said, I use a brand of feed called Kalmbach, and they sell a brand called Kent. And I said, I'll keep up with Kalmbach. And he said, look, I can't bring in 2 brands of rodent food. And I said, no, I'm not asking you to, and I'm not ever going to buy enough to make it worth your while to switch brands. I said, but I'm impressed that you guys even carry rodent food. And he goes, well, yeah, I got a guy that buys 2 pallets a month from me. That's a ton, 2 times. There's 2 tons. And I said, who the hell is that?
Who is that?
Yeah.
I need to connect with that guy.
And the guy looks at me and he goes, yeah, that guy converted a chicken barn to a rodent operation. Like, it's out there. It's amazing how much it's out there. And that's all the while I'm expanding because I can't keep up with the demand for the rodents. Now, granted, we breed different kinds of rodents, so I'm excited about that. I'm like, okay, cool. I got my ASF lane, but it's out there. This guy converted a chicken barn into a rat farm, and in theory is doing fine at it because he continues to buy 2 tons of rat food a month from this little grain mill that's like, yeah, don't talk to us about another brand because you, little man, I have no leverage here. That's what he was saying.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Troy. Thank you very, very much for the kind tip in the bucket there. That will more than pay for what we would have made on ads and allow us to come ad free. So ad free from Balls and Strikes Pythons. And yes, excellent on don't neglect your snakes. And if you're stepping out, sell them, give them away, whatever you got to do, but get them into the right hands of good people going forward. Last but not least, check out Sundog Serpents. That's Sarah and Josh down in Orlando. You can see them on the Repticon circuit in Florida for sure, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, and Morph Market. If TSK clowns are up your alley, check out their ingredients they have available right now. They'll also have blood pythons available later this year. Joe, thank you. We made it. We did our 7-minute rehearsal. Then we rebounded. We put on an actual show. Thank you to everybody that hung out today. Good spirited conversation. Happy belated Memorial Day weekend to you, Joe.
Thank you, and happy belated Memorial Day to you. And thanks, everybody. We will see you next week. Stay safe, stay cool.
Rhino, wherever you are, I hope you're doing okay. Go find your sunset pied, my man.